Hey guys, and welcome back to Fringe Friday. As always, I am Carmen, and today I forgot to change my lights from Battlestar Galactica, so we're gonna be red. But it's kind of fitting because in the last episode we were in World B. Don't know what world we're gonna be in this episode, so yeah. It'll be a fun adventure. Last time in World B, we discovered that Olivia is pregnant. I don't love it, naturally. I do think that it adds the complication of if Peter finds out, which, if we know Peter's going to find out, then what world is Peter ultimately going to choose? Because if it was just between Olivia and our Olivia, I have no doubt that he would choose our Olivia, but this obviously adds a complication in, and so, we'll have to see how that goes. We also had, what else do we have? That's kind of it. Like, I really like Lincoln and Charlie, and I wish that we could keep them for our world. And yeah, I just feel really bad for Frank because he proposed and she said yes, and then he found out, and then he knew that it wasn't his, and it was a whole thing. Anyway, you guys have seen it. You've probably seen my reaction to it, I hope. And so I'm gonna not ramble very much at the beginning of an episode for once, and let's just get into this episode, see what world it takes place in, and see if I cry. Always a fun game.
Where you heading?
Schrodinger Hotel on Flatbush.
Well, you're not leaving too, are you?
I can't take it anymore, Jimmy. I haven't slept in weeks, and I'm not sticking around to find out how bad it's gonna get. I'm not spending another minute in this building.
What's going on?
A bunch of people are out on the balcony. Why don't you guys head out and I'll get some drinks?
I don't know if you should go on the balcony. I feel like that might be a bad idea.
Have you given him a section of your closet?
And half the medicine cabinet.
Yesterday, the stove comes on completely by itself.
It's haunted. Is she choking?
What's in those?
Okay? I don't know. Is it some type of barbecue?
Oh, is she having an allergic reaction?
Sylvia can't breathe. She needs her purse. It's with her coat.
That corner of Flatbush.
Did the balcony fall? Because I knew it was a bad idea to be on that balcony, can I just say? Past me called it from a minute ago. It's weird because it gives haunted building vibes, but Fringe doesn't do supernatural, it just does sci-fi.
Quiet the past couple of weeks, no new cases, and somehow that is translated into never seeing Olivia, and I, for one, miss her.
Any reason why you didn't mention this to me last night?
Do you believe it slipped my mind?
No, I would not.
Did he invite her for breakfast?
It's none of your concern.
Of course it's his
Your
concern.
happiness is my concern.
Yeah.
And while that's very sweet, I'm begging you, please, don't try and force things, okay?
I'm not forcing anything.
He for sure invited her for breakfast.
Good morning, Walter.
So cute.
Breakfast, most important meal of the day.
Oh, he set it up for them.
Oh, there's something you see.
No.
He wants us to spend time together.
Yeah.
The three of us.
No. I don't think so.
Just the two. Walter!
He left. Eat dinner or
It's
breakfast.
not lying, though. The pancakes are fantastic.
Eat breakfast together. You have to take small baby steps, towards where y'all used to be.
I'm gonna
Maybe
head
not.
back to the office.
Ugh, come on, Olivia. Peter, Olive Branch.
Olivia, look, I don't approve of his methodology, but since we're here, we might as well take advantage of the situation and just talk about what's bothering you.
Yes.
I don't really know what to say.
I mean, of course you don't. Oh, you can't know what to say in that situation. How you feel is all you have to say.
I know you had feelings for her, and that you still do, and Frankly, I don't think you've been completely honest with me.
But,
Well, you're right. I mean, I haven't told you everything.
what do you expect from him?
Mostly because I didn't think that you...
That I could handle it?
That you would want to know.
I know that you struggle with trust issues, that you have a difficult time letting people in.
Well, I'm struggling because the reasons are real. I'm not making them up.
I know. I never wanted to be one of the reasons.
Oh, no. Of course he didn't.
And I still think about her because I spent so long imagining going down that path with you.
Yes.
And then finally, I had it. I've seen what the two of us together looks like, and it's beautiful.
Yes. But she
She's the one
has...
that took it away from us, not me.
And now? Who's the one stopping us now?
It's so hard because, like, you can... I totally get why she would be upset and have a hard time with it, you know? But I also get where he's coming from.
Did my plan work?
He's so cute.
1 second they were standing on the balcony, next second they were hitting the sidewalk.
But they all jumped?
The balcony disappeared.
Did they find any structural damage to the balcony they were standing on?
First responders didn't detect anything.
Oh, there was a balcony still. I wonder if it's the shifting of the two worlds. If that has anything to do with it.
They all just came down.
But at once? Like they all jumped at the same time?
I don't think any of them jumped.
Maybe it's true what they say about this place.
It's haunted.
What do they say?
It's haunted. Sorry. I'm pretty sure that's what they say, though.
I don't think these people jumped.
Yeah.
You're right. And even if they just went over the railing, they would have landed farther out.
Yeah, it's simple physics. Instead, they landed directly below us.
Yeah, exactly. I would get off the balcony, maybe.
Ghosts. Apparently, the residents think that the Rosencrantz building is haunted.
It's the shifting of the two worlds. That's what I'm gonna say.
The electricity would go on and then go off.
It's got something to do with the universes.
I know what's happening here. The laws of physics are being disrupted here. Our world is starting to come apart, it seems.
Yeah.
And the tear is beginning right here.
Oh no. It's even worse than I thought.
Walter, we're gonna go set this up at the Rosencrantz. Now, if any seismic activity happens, you'll be the first to know.
Yes, please, hocus pocus, whatever you want to hear.
He's feeling guilt.
What's all that about?
He's guilty. He feels guilt.
You remember the chemical attack on the commuter bus some years ago?
Yeah, it
Yes.
was one of our first cases.
I want the case file, and I want my lab notes of the case, please.
Why?
He wants us to stay here.
I mean, he knows it's 12 degrees out here.
He said to stay close in case we have any last-second calibrations.
Do you really think that this is the end of the world as we know it?
If it is, there's no
Maybe.
reason to wait outside in the cold for it. There's a bar right across the street.
Wait, you think that now's the time to be throwing back shots?
Who said anything about downing shots? Maybe they got fries.
Ooh.
Now you're talking.
Talk to
See you,
this
Mrs.
old lady. Mrs. Gretchen? She knows something. She knows something. What if she's from World B and that's why the worlds are like, oh, you know what I'm saying? She's in apartment 6B. What does she know? How are you connected to this, Gretchen? Who's your husband? What are these books? Can I see that? There could be clues here.
You know when you were talking earlier about what it felt like when you thought you were with me? And you said that it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know what that feels like.
Yeah? Is she gonna kiss him? I'm so nervous. I don't know why. She's scared he's thinking of her.
Olivia, what?
He kissed you too familiarly.
Just need to get some air. I swear.
Is that what it is? I was so excited for like 2 seconds.
Whatever that was, if you think that it's a mistake...
Peter, you glimmered.
So you're afraid?
Yeah. Of course she
Afraid
is.
of what?
That you were right, that this isn't just about her. It was, but I think that this is me. I think that I'm stopping us. Maybe I'm just incapable of being vulnerable.
No.
I'm terrified.
Of
I
course you
can't fix this. That this is just who I am.
No, you're terrified because you care. Because you love him. That apartment's glimmering! 6B! It's glimmering! It's glimmering! You can't see it right now, you guys, but I'm like shaking my little feet so hard. I bet she is from World B. Oh my god. Gretchen? Wait, what's happening? Wait, what's happening? Does Peter see that too, or is it just Olivia? Can she see something? Is it her husband? It was. I assume it's her husband.
What happened?
Who was he?
Yeah, she saw him too. Yes, I knew it!
His ghost.
But it's not his ghost. He's in World B, and he's like crossing over to try to communicate with her? Maybe he got stuck there? Somehow?
When we travel, he'd tell people we worked for National Geographic. No, I know that sounds horrible.
No, it sounds cute.
Got us into a few restricted but spectacular places. We never had children, so that was a thing.
Forgive me, but how did Derek die?
This is...
The fuse box blew like it always did, and we flipped a coin like usual.
Fair.
Derek lost this time. There was a short in the wiring. He died instantly.
Oh, okay.
Is that when he started coming to you?
No. I couldn't get out of bed after the funeral.
Aww. His old lady.
We've been together since we were 20. He was part of me. Then he was gone.
Of course.
So when did you first see him after he died?
A few days after.
A date?
For a second, I forgot. I wondered what Derek was in the mood to eat. And then I remembered.
That's really sad. That's really sad. I'm sorry.
How long did you two live here?
Over 40 years, Derek owned this apartment.
Walter, why did you ask that question?
Yeah.
If her husband had this apartment, then it stands to reason that her husband's double may have this apartment on the other side.
Oh, that's who she's seeing. Of course, I didn't think of that.
That woman is seen through to the other side, mistaking the other Derek for her husband.
Yeah.
And the fabric separating our universes is so thin that Mrs. Merchant can see through it. This is not good at all.
No, that's not good.
I understand why she can see through and I can't, but how is it that Mrs. Merchant can see through?
Right now, I'm not interested in how, Peter.
I think
I'm
how...
concerned about what happens next.
Okay, but I think how is an important question. Maybe just because they're soulmates, like, across time? Sorry. I'm too much of a hopeless romantic.
I've been worried about this since we returned from the other side. How we would plug the breach.
Walter, please don't tell me that you're thinking...
What am I missing?
The amber.
The government asked us to analyze this for its military.
Yeah! I had forgotten that's what happened to those people!
We need half a dozen of our best scientists. And that nervous fellow, Brandon.
Are you really suggesting that the FBI encased that building in amber?
Perhaps the whole block.
No.
I need to run this on the channels.
Not exactly how you imagine meeting the president, huh?
I already know him. He doesn't like me. I beat him at golf.
Of course, Miles loves the president. I love him.
For a long time, I've been willing to think the worst of Walton.
Now you're seeing him as human?
Now we're faced with the same decision, and I'm arguing that we do exactly what he did.
That you're the same person in a lot of
So
ways.
what person does that make me?
Scared.
One who's asking the right questions.
You don't think he grappled with them too?
He did. I know he did.
The woman who lost her husband, why can she see through to the other side?
Thank you. I think that's an important question.
You can do it, but only when your emotions are heightened. That emotional intensity is your trigger.
Well, she's grieving her husband. That's emotionally intense.
But she doesn't have cortexiphan.
Sad, but what makes her so unique?
Yeah.
And why can she only see her husband's double and not her own?
Maybe they both lost the partner.
Maybe the other Alice lost the coin toss.
Yeah.
She told you that they used to flip a coin to see who was going to have to go fix the fuse. So maybe the exact same thing happened on the other side.
We're on the same wavelength, Peter.
Is it possible that these two people, both grieving for a version of each other in the exact same spot, are somehow causing this soft spot?
Yes. Love.
Olivia, I'm picking up all kinds of seismic activity in Park Slope.
It's happening again.
Maybe, like, ask her to leave the building for, like, a hot minute, you know? Like, go somewhere else just for, like, a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week.
Sir, we've got a resident that's refusing to vacate. Merchant 6B, please advise.
That's her.
Proximity is irrelevant. If Peter and Olivia are right, then it doesn't matter if they're inches apart or miles.
Oh, okay. So her leaving wouldn't work.
What do you suggest?
We convince her that it's not her husband that she's holding on to.
And that'll make this stop?
Possibly. But before we resort to Amber, we have to try.
Yes. Try.
If I give the order, I want you two out immediately. No hesitation, understood?
Yes, sir.
Go.
Yes, try. Try to break that poor old woman's heart, I guess. Like, weird that that's what I'm rooting for.
The man you're seeing, he's not a ghost, and he's not your husband. He looks like Derek. He looks exactly like Derek.
And who is he?
Oh God, oh God, oh God. Olivia, talk faster.
Devices in place.
I want all teams behind the line immediately.
Yes, sir.
Talk faster, talk faster.
I swear to you, the man that you're seeing,
Maybe Peter should talk to her.
he's from another world.
What are you talking about?
In his world, he lost his wife too. Now, I know this sounds insane, but all those people that fell from the balcony, they all died because you two couldn't let go of each other. And you can stop it if you just let go of him.
Alice! Love! It's me!
I can hear you. Derek, I hear you.
I can see him too now.
Sweetheart!
I miss you too.
Tell her Peter, maybe Peter.
I don't think the building can take much more of this.
Well, she won't let go.
Maybe they have to get out of there.
It's a vortex. It's starting.
Y'all gotta get out of there. Get out!
How do I trigger the amber ducting?
Turn it on.
Evacuate now! Do you hear me? That's a direct order!
Go.
Who are those people with you?
Peter.
Alice, please, look at me. You need to let him go.
How can you ask me? I can't.
He knows.
I just can't.
I know, but you've already had what most of us only dream of. A lifetime with the person that you love. Yeah. Your entire house is filled with mementos, photographs, ticket stubs, proof that what you and Derek had was true and real. And I know that when you have something so real, you'll do anything to keep from losing, but please, you have to let him go.
Alice, I miss you so much. And the girls miss you.
You don't have kids. You never had kids. Remember?
We never had children.
Yeah.
Of course we did.
That's not your husband. Yeah. There you go. It's not your husband.
I'm not your wife. Your wife is gone. And so's my Derek.
They did it.
Today was something I never could have imagined. But if the impossible is possible, who's to say that someday I won't see him again?
Maybe you will.
Gretchen got me all fucked up.
Today wasn't a victory. Today was a vision of things to come.
You don't know that to be true.
Unfortunately, I do. Over there, decades of research and funding. Best solution Walter could come up with was this it won't be enough.
Not eventually.
Once the universe is start to unravel, there'll be no stopping it.
Yep.
I don't know how to stop it.
Well then, I think you need to learn.
Yes, Nina. Tell him. You have massive dynamic now. Y'all got all the funding in the fucking world. You can do it.
I might be being presumptuous, but, I was thinking maybe...
You can have a drink?
Yeah, of course. Come on in.
Makes me so nervous. I just want them to be happy. I just want them to be happy.
It's a disaster narrowly averted.
Or at least postponed.
I mean, hey. In this universe, you gotta take what you can get. As far as disaster. Okay. Y'all stress me out. Y'all stress me the fuck out.
Peter, what you said to Mrs. Merchant. I want what you want.
With you, right? Maybe that's implied.
What do you think we should do about that?
Kiss? 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 Look at him! Look at him! Oh, this stresses me out though because I know about Olivia. Start slow. Start slow. What's wrong?
Am I glowing?
No. Is that good? Is that good? Are we happy? Are we happy? What's wrong? Are we gonna have sex? You guys! I'm so happy. You guys! Okay. Sorry, I just had to get it out. My little shippery heart is so incredibly happy right now. Like, Peter and Olivia kissed, and they want like 40 years of happy memories. Like, they want a lifetime together. And like, that is all I want. But like, that really stresses me out. I'm sorry, I'm about to cry. I'm a very emotional person, okay? I get very invested. I'm very invested in this relationship. They want to... Okay, I'm trying to calm down. I am so excited. This is what I have wanted for like 3.5 freaking seasons now. And like, we're actually getting it. However, that elation, that utter happiness, that joy that I cannot help but feel is also impending doom because of Olivia's situation, condition, whatever you want to call it. Like, you guys, I cannot believe that they did that to me right before they gave me Peter and Olivia. What is their ship name? Someone tell me their ship name because I need to know. I can't believe, like, I'm such a shipper. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm such a shipper. Like, I should be talking about the other very interesting things that happened in this episode, but like, they kissed. They're gonna have sex. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Like, oh my gosh, I have wanted this since fucking season 1, episode 1, you guys. Like, let's be real. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. All right, let me try to calm down and be a little bit more coherent. So this episode really tugged on our heartstrings, right, with Gretchen and her husband. And I was thinking, as you guys saw, that like maybe her husband was from the other side, and so that's what happened. And then when he died, I was like, okay, this doesn't make sense. Like, did she see his body, you know, like sort of situation. But stupid me just forgot that there's like 2 of everybody for a second. Don't know how. Really don't know how. But yeah, I love the idea that their love was that strong for each other that like they were essentially tearing down the fabric of time and space between them to try to get to each other. Not intentionally, of course. They both just thought that they were seeing the ghost of their dead husband and wife. But it's such a cute thing. And like, of course you can completely, well, you can't understand. Well, maybe you can, I don't know. But I can empathize with like loving somebody so much, and I can't even imagine after 40 years with somebody, like how devastated, here if I can go again, you guys, but how devastated you would be on losing them. Like, how do you wake up next to somebody for 40 years and then wake up alone? Like, it breaks my heart for her. And so like, it would be so hard to let go, right? Because she thinks like, even though he's gone, I get these moments where I get to see my husband again. And like, it would be all you could cling on to, you know? Like, she was suicidal. She said as much in her talk with Olivia, and then seeing him gave her a reason to keep going. And I think it's almost beautiful the way that this tear in the fabric of the universe, which almost destroyed a lot of people, but it saved her life, you know? Like, obviously it's completely tragic what happened to the other people in the building as a result of it, but that slipping through the universe, it allowed her to get up and have a reason to keep going long enough that when she did say goodbye to him, she could have hope that she would see him again and have another reason to keep going. And like, it gets me, you guys. Like, you know, I am emotional. I'm a very emotional person. I feel things very deeply, but I really love that Fringe has that ability, right? Like, I think that great storytelling, and here I go again, but great storytelling, which Fringe is, beautiful, beautiful fucking storytelling, it allows you, it makes you almost, right, feel and like just, I don't know. My favorite stories are ones that make you feel and think and see the world differently, or just get so touched by a story. And I think that Fringe does all of those things, you know? And I think that, I don't know, I really liked this episode. I liked the way that it related back to Peter and Olivia. And Olivia has just been, she's always been so scared, right? She always had these walls up. Like, trust is not easy for her because she has a lot of childhood trauma, okay? Some of it caused by Peter's fucking dad. And childhood trauma really does affect you for the rest of your life. Like, it has affected her ability to trust people. It has affected her ability to let people in. It has affected so many facets of her life. And I think that she already had those trust issues and those walls built up. And then Olivia came in and like completely wrecked everything. And so all of the years of trust that she had building up with Peter to the moment where she could tell him, you belong with me. Like, come back to our universe. You belong with me. Like, I don't know what universe you belong in, but you should be with me. All of the breaking of all of the walls that she had built up to get to that moment, like when Olivia came and like fucked shit up, she was like building it back, you know, like she was building back those walls. And so she really kind of had to tear them down all over again and start from scratch. And it's such a sad thing because like both of them are victims in that situation, you know, like Peter never wanted to be with Olivia. Like, he wanted Olivia. Like, he wanted her for years, and then he thought he got her, only to discover that he had been tricked and he didn't really have her, and then that put in jeopardy him ever having her. Like, how devastating would that be? And then Olivia, you know, she spent all this time learning to trust him only to have that trust taken away, so that she had to kind of learn to retrust him and let herself be vulnerable again. And I love that you can so clearly see it from both of their perspectives, right? Like, it's not that, oh, Olivia should just get over it and move on, even though, like, you kind of desperately want that because it's not Peter's fault, really, you know, but she's completely validated, or she's completely valid in her feelings of hurt and upset. Like, of course she is. Like, you can't fucking blame her. And then Peter, like, you know, like I said, he's a victim in all of this too. So I just love that in the show, like, you can so clearly see it from both of their perspectives. And I love that in this episode, Peter sort of called her out, though, because he's like, you know, at first I think that it was because of her. Like, I understand that that's why you're upset, but, like, maybe now you're the one that's standing in your own way. And I think that she was, because I also think that when you are somebody who is used to disappointment and used to being hurt and used to not getting your happy ending, like Olivia is, like, having those things turn against you, like, even with the guy in the beginning of the series whose name I totally forget. He had 2 first names. What was his name? The one that she was with, like, in the very beginning of the series, that then kind of betrayed her and everything, you know, but kind of didn't. That's a throwback. Anyway, when you're used to being hurt over and over again, eventually, as a defense mechanism, as a coping mechanism, you're gonna start stopping yourself from being happy before you can get hurt, right? If she hurts herself by not letting Peter in, then Peter can't then later hurt her. It doesn't make sense, but it's what people do. Like, people do it all the time. And that's, I think, what Olivia was doing. You know, she's like, I trusted you. You hurt me. Again, not that I'm blaming Peter, but I'm saying this is from Olivia's perspective. Like, I trusted you. You hurt me. Now I'm not going to trust you. I'm not going to let myself be vulnerable again because you're going to hurt me. You know, obviously there was lots of extenuating circumstances in all of this, but it totally makes sense. And I'm glad that in the end, like, Olivia sort of realized, you know, I'm stopping myself from being happy. I'm stopping myself from having 40 years with you that I can look back on and be so like, yeah, I lived a good ass life. I was happy. I didn't stop myself from that, you know? So I really, really love Peter and Olivia in this episode, and I'm very stressed. I know you guys are always worried about my mental health, but, like, trust me, I'm okay. Well, sometimes I'm not okay, but right now I'm okay. And, like, I fear because they're so happy and they're so cute and they're gonna wake up next to each other and it's gonna be lovely. But then at some point, the Olivia shoe is gonna drop and I'm so not ready for it. Also, moving on from that, I really liked Walter having to be introspective in this episode and having to sort of look at himself and see that he is capable of making the same choices that Walternate made that he so harshly judged him for. And that the line between good and evil, right, the way you view people, what you think is good and evil, can sometimes be a lot murkier than you think. I really think the show has done a good job of humanizing Walternate for the audience, and now humanizing Walternate for Walter. And Walter is saying, like, I can see now that he probably wrestled with these choices, that he probably feels guilt for these things that he's had to do to help his world, you know? But that doesn't mean he didn't do them, and that doesn't mean that I won't do them just because I'll feel guilty about doing them, you know? And so I think that that's a really interesting sort of moral dilemma for Walter to have to face when looking at his alternative self, and then also just his self in general, right? Because if the entire world is at stake, what are you willing to do to ensure that it, and by extension the people that you love that exist within it, are safe? What's the line that you won't cross? I think Walter's realizing that his might be a little bit further than he thought it was, right? So I think that's really interesting. I love grappling with moral dilemmas. Like, maybe you guys have cottoned on to that fact. I'm interested in what Walter and Nina are going to try to come up with to not have to do the Amber situation that the other world has to do. I also am like stressed because soft spots are appearing in our world. Like, this one was caused by those people's love. Like, where else could they start forming? And like, are we eventually gonna have to do the Amber? I obviously don't agree with the Amber, but we'll see what happens when we get there. Also, if both worlds are now deteriorating, does that mean that the timeline for when we have to use the machine is like ramping up? If so, does that mean that the timeline for when Peter has to choose between Olivia and his baby and Olivia is ramping up? Also, speaking of the Amber, I was like, yeah, I remember the bus from season 1, but I didn't remember, like, I remembered that the people were like stuck in something, but like, my dumbass did not make the connection that that was fucking Amber. And like, you guys, like I don't know how. Like, that was crazy. That was a crazy moment. That was cool. That was a cool bring back to now, right? Like, that was a cool little trip down memory lane to bring it back to where we are now. Like, I really enjoyed that. Also really enjoyed Walter playing matchmaker. He's so cute. He's so cute. I love him. Yeah, all in all, I just really, really liked this episode. It gave me the feels, both happy and sad, and it allowed me to have more happy moments with Peter and Olivia, which, you know, are always kind of immediately followed by stress, but I'm gonna enjoy the happy moments of them being happy together and smiling at each other and kissing and being adorable as fuck, okay? I'm just gonna enjoy it. Let me enjoy it. Don't tell me. I already know that Fringe is gonna do some shit that's gonna make me very upset soon, probably, like bawling. So I'm just gonna take this moment and be happy, okay? Okay, I'm done. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you want, you can like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't already. You can also watch the next episode right now over on Patreon if you're watching this on YouTube. That will be linked in the description down below, as well as my entire full-length reaction to this episode and every single episode thus far of Fringe. That is over on Patreon as well. I need to take a lot of breaths and rewatch the scene of Peter and Olivia being cute as fuck and kissing 100 times for the next episode. Until next time, guys. Bye.